Okay, update on the markets focusing on the S&P 500 using the futures as a proxy as well, just to look at live action. This is before market open, day of the CPI print, so February 10th, 2022. And everyone acts like CPI prints and, like jobs reports are super important, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. When they're most important is when they overlap with an important point in a rally, for instance. So, looking at the daily cycle, and again, cycles are really just, in the way I look at them, are really just a way of, adding specific like quantifying rallies, right? And so, this new cycle that started is 12 days old. So this is the daily cycle. The last cycle had a high on day 21, had a low on day 34. That was January 24th. And because this was a lower low, I'll take the crosshairs off. Because this was a lower low than this cycle low, the expectation was that we would again make another lower low below this one. And so that means that this news cycle that we're in right now would probably have an early high. And so far, our high has actually been on day 7, right? We we had a swing high, right? Right when we went below this low, we made a swing high. We had this big down day, a gap down, and then we consolidated here for 3 more days and then popped back up. We did not quite make a new high yet, right? So we still have the high on day 7. And the reason this CPI number is so critical is because of this juncture we're in, right? We're either going to break through, make a new high, and potentially continue to go higher, or this is the point where we turn back and we possibly, very likely make a new low below this low that was established already, right here, right? At the very least, we're probably going down here, which is gets us down to like 44.51. So we can easily have a 100 point drop even from here. And so this is the daily chart. When you think about the weekly, where we are in the weekly cycle, we are sitting on a nice weekly swing low, right? Like at what? Yes, last week was a weekly swing low, but then we had this pullback, and so we're about to make a new weekly high again. Going back to the daily chart, that's what that line is. It's a new weekly high, but we're not quite there yet. And this could be the point where the weekly cycle continues its move lower. So again, when I talk about breaking the low of January 24th, that would also be this low on the weekly level. So if you think about the weekly time frame, that's, like, so we made this high here, then we made a lower low. This could become a lower high, and then we make a lower low below this low here. And so now we'll move over to the futures really quickly because the market hasn't opened yet. And so we want to look to the futures to understand how they're reacting to the CPI report. And it's notorious, these reports, for sort of trappy action right after the numbers are released. But now we're almost an hour since the numbers have been released. And this setup is more for intraday tracking. And so I'll zoom into the daily chart. And you can see here, we have just made a new low on the daily, right? So this is similar. These are the futures, so the numbers are slightly different, but it's the same pattern, right? We have that new high. In the case of the futures, we actually did kiss that new high yesterday, that this high. So I think yesterday on the futures, no, we did not. We got to 45.85 yesterday, and the high on day 7 was 45.86. And so looking at this right now, unless we get a pretty violent bullish reversal, this looks like it's setting up to take us lower to at least 44.62. So again, around a 100 point drop from where we closed yesterday, and then possibly all the way down to make a new low below here, right? Or maybe we stop here. Maybe it's just really scary. We come down to like right here, but this doesn't bode well. And it also looks like crypto is starting to sell off as well. So this bears close watching. The important part though is that we have pretty clear levels, right? We If we break below 44.62, then very likely we retest 4,200. And these are the numbers on the futures. You can find equivalent levels on SPX or SPY. But so far, off to a bearish start as it relates to the reaction to CPI, which again, I think is actually critical this time because of the market structure that we have on the chart at this point. So we'll see how the rest of the day closes out.